Hey guys, Joshy here, BJ on Game Day. Back for another week of Supercoach talk and plenty of other things we can go across as well. So joining me as always, we've got Brent Hampton. Well, not as always, mate, you weren't here last week, but Brent Hampton and Bogan in the background running the whole thing. So boys, how are we? How was last week?
Mate, it was
better than you, mate.
Yeah, that's true. I had a shocker last week.
Last week it was all happening with team changes, and it's probably all happening again this week, bud. But yeah, I wasn't too bad. 12:34 for the week. Had to have a reload in there. Stung a bit. Brought in Munster for the second time this season. For him to get injured with a knee injury for the second time this season. So that was good. And then as a result of trying to bring Munster in, I had to play Avarillo. And Avarillo's gone in the first 10. Got 6 points. So I'll take 12:34. Jumped up 800 spots. Nothing exciting this week, mate. But this year, but I'll take it slowly, plotting up. So, what about you,
mate? 1,084 for me. Pretty dismal week. I think Nathan Cleary, my top scorer, with 88. I didn't really have any sort of bad scorers. It was just 40s and 50s everywhere. So dropped 3,000 spots, just down to about 9,000. So definitely a Red Arrows week for me, which was pretty ordinary. But Bogan, mate, continuing to go strong, buddy.
Yeah, well, we're happy with how it went. There was a few things that didn't go my way, but that's the way. Like Teddy scoring low again, but I'm sure he'll bounce back. I'll take 1,200.
Yeah, look, spewing myself. Obviously, we went through the trays there last week, Bogues, and this was probably one week where it hurt me that I didn't commit to what I'd put on the show. Didn't bring in Kalen Ponga, and missing out on that 172 points really, really hurt. That said, obviously the injuries and a few outs there with Harry Grant obviously being named out, Madison and things like that. A few expected, but a few unexpected. And I brought in Moses last week, and I brought in Jazz Tavanga. So both of those guys played okay without being brilliant, but definitely hurt missing 170-odd points from Ponga. So
that tops me not going Walker that last year, mate, with the 4 tries there.
Mate, absolutely. What Walker was 150, this is 170. So, and it's funny you mentioned Cody Walker, mate, because he'll be featured in my trays later in the show. But
there you go.
Yes, but mate, bit of stories coming out today. Obviously, a lot of people, if they're jumping on social media, you guys have all seen the thumbnail out there. We've basically just put together for a little bit of laugh, but we can understand. Obviously, it's a serious matter, and probably more towards for us is we're just looking at the Broncos season starting to crumble. Starting to. Basically, it's crumbled completely. And big fallout here.
We've caused a bit of controversy with the thumbnail as well. Josh, do you want to go into that?
Mate, look, we've checked it up obviously on the KFC Supercoach Central page on Facebook. We've had the New South Wales Police Force tagged. We've had the Australian Federal Police tagged. So obviously we're pissing off the right people. But guys, we're gonna run through it for a few minutes here, and we will sort of point out what we all know. And then obviously there's plenty of rumours around still that could prove to be 100% false. But obviously what we do know is that...
I will say are very most likely to be false. Like, I don't think there's...
As Hampton's mentioned, when there's smoke, there's fire. But, we look at last week and, Katoni Staggs is sort of what he went through with the revealing of the sex tape. And what we can obviously announce as fact is young lady here in the pictures you can see on the screen, Mackenzie Robinson, has officially been charged. So she has officially been charged with under the new revenge porn laws. She has basically released that video. But like I said, I don't know how much of a revenge it is. You got to stand in ovation. He actually looked pretty good in the video. So, he's hung like a mule and not too bad. But obviously, we also have seen in the past couple of days that Darius Boyd has left the Broncos leadership group. That's another thing that's obviously been floated around on social media. What we don't know is the why behind that. Obviously, we can only speculate to that, whether it's change position, whether it's anything to do with inner relationships within the club. We're not too sure. Another thing that's come out on social media today, obviously, is TPJ and his affiliation with a barbershop launch or something like this, and basically an affiliation with a biker group. So again, nothing criminal there. It was basically just him breaking COVID regulations. But obviously, if the reports are right and the intention there from the Broncos to tear up his contract, it may be something a little bit more, serious behind that. Last but not least, obviously the coach, Anthony Seibold. We're not going to get into it too much because obviously there's a bit of talk around, but we've all sort of seen what's on social media. Everything alleged, everything rumour and innuendo about maybe drug use, about possible relations with people within the Broncos community, and his own sort of problems. But from a footy point of view, boys, obviously the Broncos have just got to worry about losing 8 or 10 games in a row because they really need to sort of turn it around and try and find some form again. It's a little bit hard when these kinds of distractions are there.
It's funny, right? Because I think at one point there a couple of weeks ago, they said they'd give him the last 10 games of the season. If he come out 50% of the last 10 games, he'd keep his job. So at this stage, it doesn't look like that's happening. So if what was reported about that was true, you'd have to assume he's gone by the end of the year unless they turn it around real quick. It's bizarre. I mean, on paper, they got arguably one of the best young forward packs in the world. They won their first 2 games of the season and then they've won one since after the COVID break. So I don't know what's happened. Obviously, there was a rule change there. The game sped up a little bit, but even still, I don't think, losing 59-0, 48-0, 46-8, like they're getting absolutely hammered every week. So there's something not right there. I don't know what it is, but there's just something. There has to be something. I'm not saying it's this, but it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. I've always wondered what is going on. There has to be something going on because they've got such a good side on paper. They've had a heap of injuries as well. I understand that. Like David Fafita back last week made a big difference, but it's bizarre, isn't it? It's really bizarre.
Mate, good.
Some of this.
Obviously, good return there for David Fafita. You mentioned that last week, mate. He looked good despite obviously so many weeks out and after the knee surgery. Fitness-wise, he looked fairly capable. He had a great running battle there with Cody Walker and Dane Gagai. Plenty of laughs between the boys.
How good Gomez's comment?
Probably too many arguments over who's it was with Mackenzie.
Allegedly.
Gomez. Mate, we're trying to keep this away from that side of things, Gomez. Fuck's sake.
I almost went on a Bogans rant before we went to air about what's irritating me about this whole thing. Is that the media's report on it is that he's brought in the lawyers. That's the latest report. But what is frustrating me is the mainstream media's reporting on it is just tweets from other journalists saying how disgusting it is that people would make rumours, but not actually talking about what the fucking rumours are. Like, the media, media should be sorting out the fact from the fiction and reporting on that. If there's something that's blatantly bullshit and they have sources that can fucking say that it's bullshit, they should be stating the fact, especially if it makes him look better, if it dispels these rumours. Now,
mate, look, I think this is the problem with the media, though.
Yeah,
is you look at journalists these days, and quality journalism's gone. And when you look at things like this, it's hard to, unless you've got that pure fact and 100% sources and things like that, you can't report on these things.
They'll speculate. They'll speculate all the fucking time on other things.
Yeah, but not about things that will destroy someone's career. Like,
if it was fucking Donald Trump, if it was Donald Trump Seibold.
Yeah, but no one's kicking him out of bloody, what we say here in the Australian media or whatever media isn't going to affect his position as president. Whereas this lad's obviously on the edge of a knife, and he's about to fall leg either side and go straight up his balls.
Well, and there's talk of that too. Should he fall on his sword just for his own fucking mental health? Like, surely this
Probably,
is like it's looking like his family's. It's looking like allegedly. Don't sue us, Anthony. I'm sticking up for you. It's looking like allegedly his family's not happy with the situation. It's looking fairly obvious that the players aren't happy with the situation. When does it get to the point where you just walk away and go, you know what? Fuck this shit.
Well, and I think this goes to a little bit what I was speaking about before off air, is a little bit of talk as well about the CEO position that's become available, and Ben Ikin putting his hand up for the job. Now, obviously, Benny has his own history with the Broncos, being a player there, being one of Queensland's greatest and I guess youngest players to come through, and a solid player himself. But he may be the man for basically what we need to see at the Broncos is a complete rebuild. We need to completely tear the club apart.
And they're in a perfect...
And it looks like they're doing that before the CEO even gets there. But
and they're in a position to do it if all of these quality forwards they have don't walk away from the club. I think that's probably what the Broncos' main priority should be at the moment, is not burning those young players and pushing them away.
But hang on, are they quality?
Well, fucking Payne Haas is definitely fucking quality. I feel sorry for that young lad. Yeah, we've seen him able to perform.
I think when you look at the facts, you got David Feeder's walked away. TPJ's, if you believe what's coming up today, he's potentially gone. That could be a rumour or it could be true. I think the Broncos are denied it this afternoon. You've got, possibly Katoni Staggs looking elsewhere. You have to at some point question what's going on with that when that's happening, and even from just a well-being perspective, like you said, the pressure must be immense. And I agree with these boys in the chat. They put the bloke's face up on the telly when they're getting pumped 30 mil or 36, and it doesn't look like he's having a good time. They're happy to do that on the media and fabricate stories everywhere else about players moving here and there, but all of a sudden when it's crossing that criminal line of defamation, they don't want to say shit.
When it's
the media,
Now,
media's absolute scum.
They are, because. So you studied journalism, and we've established that, Josh, right?
Yeah, mate.
There's a heavy responsibility that comes with being a journalist, and one of those is to ensure that you're informing the public of the truth. So if these rumours are false, the media should be saying, this is what has been stated, and it is not true. They shouldn't be going, this is what Phil Gould had to say on Twitter, and Phil Gould having a fucking grump. That's shit journalism.
You can't step up and say that if you don't know it. It's one thing for Seabold to either deny it. It's one thing for him to say, all right, I'm going to engage lawyers from a defamation point of view and whatever it has been. But as a journalist, if you're the person who comes out, and whether it's on behalf of any kind of media whatsoever, if you're the one that says this is absolute bullshit and it's false and there is no truth to the allegations whatsoever,
then who's that defaming?
Well, it's not defaming anyone, but it's the journalists themselves. If that then turns out to be true, your credibility as a journalist completely goes out the window. That's basically saying,
I know a lot
the
of
20 million people in Australia, 25 million people in Australia, I'm saying one thing, and I 100% tell you that's the truth, and then saying it's wrong. Every story you write after that just means less.
Danny Wilder doesn't seem to have a fucking problem with his credibility when it comes to speculating about players wanting out of their contracts and stuff like that.
Exactly right. And half the people who even look at that guy thinks he's an absolute fucking idiot. Danny Wilder is just, he pulls the trigger too fast. James Hooper's the same. Peter Bedell up here for the Courier Mail. I reckon he's probably the best out of the three, but I ain't talking about a good bunch either, So when you're a journalist, you basically,
why are these journalists happy to ruin coaches by stoking the flames of their unhappy players? But they're not willing. They're not willing to go. People are saying this bloke's on coke and rooting around, but it's false.
Yeah, but see, this is the story today, and everything that's come out today has got more of a personal feel. Obviously, we talk about drug use. We talk about, and we said before the show, we're not going to touch the family side of things, but there are some talks there. So I don't want to go near that. But you look at things that happen in day-to-day media about these guys, and it is all football related. Like, they basically keep it in that football bubble. That's the difference with this scenario here, and why journalists don't want to touch it, is because it's not why we should be criticising these guys. We should be criticising these guys when they don't do their job properly.
Which they're not.
They don't do their job properly because X amount is going wrong in their personal lives. It's one thing I talk about, with my job is basically if you're having a shit time at home, you're fighting with the missus, you're fighting with anyone, well, you leave it at the door, and you just go in and you do your job. These journalists, they sort of look at the same, is they can report on football as long as it's football related.
I think they pick. I think they pick and choose, to be honest, and they're shit scared that he's brought out the lawyers. And I think he's brought out the lawyers because it was about to actually hit the mainstream, these rumours.
It could well do. I mean, but there's nothing more mainstream than social media now. Forget mainstream media. Mainstream media is a secondary form of media these days.
But how are we supposed to not go to social media for our news when we're not getting the full picture from the media, from the mainstream media?
Well, but this is the thing: is that you look at media today, and I have a big gripe about it, about tabloid journalism, and basically what I basically see as fluff is journos basically writing a story, first paragraph, 5 excerpts from Twitter, and then close the story off. That's
basically what they've done on the reporting for Seabold as well.
But this is where you look at the whole of social media. Everyone out there today is a journalist. Everyone out there has their own source, their own platform where they can say, you 300 friends that I've got on Facebook, you 4,000 friends that I've got on Facebook, this is what I think, this is what I believe, this is what's happened. All of a sudden, you don't have to go to a news source for it. You don't have to go to a newspaper for it. Yet, whether there's any truth behind what someone says on social media, people will still believe it because that's how stupid people are. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Anyway. No, like I think
we've had enough on that.
Yeah, Brent's had enough.
Look, we've got it to their time.
Well,
footy.
As I said,
let's talk about footy.
I think we'll just finish that with I hope his family fucking comes through it well.
Plot twist: can the Broncos win the comp this year?
I'll tell you what, there's a movie. You know what? I would love the rumours to be true and then win the premiership because that's a great move.
It is a great move.
I want to see Mackenzie on the cheer squad. That's what I want to see.
Mate, she's going to have to lose about fucking... I think that's
too bad, mate. People like Chucky these days.
Maybe Dullinghams with someone.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Looks like a bloke. Anyway.
I'd put a Broncos jersey on to have a crack. All right, what do we got? Thursday game from last week. Bring it up. Dragons up against the Roosters. Oh, look, obviously a tight game here. Zach Lomax, what a bastard. Scored the first 2 tries there for the Dragons. 10-all at halftime it was before the Roosters just kicked away towards the end. Made a bit of dirty stuff in this game. I didn't actually watch too much this game. I was playing pool, but just sort of saw the highlights here or there. Did you see any of this, Hampton?
Yeah, I watched a bit of this one. I thought looked like a knee twist from Hall on Lomax's first try, which I was hoping put Lomax out because I didn't have him and he scored in the process. Thought, you beauty, at least he's off, and he went on to score another try. So scores a double against the Chooks. Give me a break, 103, and looked unreal. That said, the Chooks had 1,000 outs, and they still do. They look lost out on their edges now with no Angus or Cordner out there. Obviously, no Morris brothers, Tupu, even Radley in the middle. They got blokes out all over the shop, and they just keep winning. So I think there was a try right at the end to Kiri Joshy, and he had Teddy just on his outside, and he's thrown the dummy. And I think if he throws that to Teddy probably gets 80, 90 points. So that one hurt everyone that had Teddy watching that one. But the Dragons were good in their own right. But the Chooks just keep getting the job done with all these blokes out, and they've still got plenty of blokes out. I think Joshy Morris is meant to be back this week, but that's about it.
Let's talk about a little bit more rumour there, and actually rumour that's come from direct NRL sources, I guess, and that's Mary McGregor, mate. Looks like this week will be his last as the head coach.
Yeah. I think
fucking calling the lawyers
this
then.
afternoon. Allegedly. And they're saying,
Allegedly.
You just got to say allegedly in front of it, and you can say whatever you want. Who's coming in for it? Who do they reckon is coming in?
Dean Young, mate, their current assistant.
Yeah. So after everything he's got through, I mean, they've been a bit better in the last month or so. I don't know what's happened there, but I think he's had his time in the sun, plenty of opportunity for him. So
they've probably conducted a review. Like these things can take time. It's not often a case of you just decide drop a coach. Like they've probably been doing performance reviews since early on in the season, and they've just completed those reviews, and it's getting to the pointy end where we got to start looking plenty of coaching spots up.
Yeah, Cam McInnes, Hampton. Mate, huge updates. I thought he only scored about 70 in the game. Updated to 99.
Yeah, I think he got credited with some attacking stats that someone else had. But he still pumped out 75 points in base. So, it was still a massive performance for him. That he was back at 9 again. I think he spent a bit of time in the back row at the back end of the game. But he's been named at lock again this week. So I think it looks like he's going to score 70, 80 one week and then 50 the next at the moment. So, yeah, the base is still massive. So, he's doing well. And obviously with Grant out for 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it is, you can pick him at hooker, or if you've got him in the back row, slide him up there if you've got Cam Smith and you didn't want to sit on him. So that's helpful. Guys like him, Jazz Tabunga, Brendan Smith as well, mate. But yeah, Cam's paying off the people that had him, and nice updates. We'll take that every day of the week.
Absolutely. Mate, this first game on the Friday night there. And what do we have? Warriors. Oh, look. Actually, I came home. I watched both the games Friday night, and this was a cracker. The Warriors obviously got away to a flyer of a start. I think it was 16-0 after about 15 minutes. And Manly just sort of couldn't peg them back. They got it to 16-10 before the Warriors kicked away again, and then a couple of late tries to Manly. But, look, I tell you what, this Olakatu looks a good footballer. Big, strong body. I was actually, for a long time there, I thought that that size of Taniela Paseka was the next thing to come along. But this Olakatu, he's got the footwork to go with it, and looks brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting actually. They had Thompson and Sirenen ruled out, so they had Guacamole Olakatu there. Can't say his name, sorry, mate. And he played 80 minutes. Try looked really good. He's a monster. So the back row stocks are looking good. Obviously, Antonel Blake went down. He's now going to miss possibly up to a month. So Powell was pretty big as a result of that. Ended up staying out there. But copped a big high shot from Hetherington as well and didn't come back. So he probably would have scored a few more had he not copped that. So that was good for non-owners. But yeah, Marty's hit a bit of purple patch. I reckon he's been pretty good in the last 6 weeks. But
mate, I was reading one of the Instagram pages today. I think it might have been Rugby League Guru. Marty averaging 80 when AFB's out. So obviously, Fanua Blake will be out for the next month or so. As well for anyone who jumped on Marty a few weeks ago when I think he bottomed out about 410k.
Yeah, he was that cheap. I think at the time it was like, I got to get. Couldn't get him. Had too many other problems, and now, yeah, he's still probably pretty cheap at 520 odd. But I think he doesn't play a huge number of minutes. Generally 40 to 50 most weeks. You're not going to see him play 80. I don't think you'll ever see him play 80, but he was a good buy at 400k. I think for that price at the moment, there's plenty of other back row options, guys that are playing a few more minutes, but I don't think you go wrong with him. Like I said, his scoring's been solid. He's got a good offload, breaks heaps of tackles, so he's still, a cheapest option. Maybe people that have 12 or something like that, and maybe people looking to get off Carrigan possibly. There's a few options around there.
Mate, for the Warriors, look, we talked about obviously Jay Stavanga. He played another solid game. Not many, not big minutes though. I think he only played about sort of 48 or 50 minutes. So all in base there, I think 73, near enough to it. Tohu Harris, another solid game from him. But again, had a little bit of a spell on the bench. I think now that Jazz has come back, they're not playing Tohu 80, mate. Thoughts there?
Yeah, I think he's just giving him that bit of a rest there and then comes on for that last spell. Just, he's doing a heap of work in the middle for him as well. He's meant to be playing on the edge, but he comes in a fair bit. He's still getting good output. It's just, it's not getting the 80. So I brought him in last week. I actually went in and was pretty happy with it, considering that the ownership percentage. And I reckon I'll be looking at Jazz this week because he's still pretty cheap. And his minutes aren't huge. Jazz, as you said, still only playing. He's only played 50-odd minutes the last 3 weeks, but his base is really good. And
mate, I'd love to see that jump up to 60, 65 minutes.
If he plays 55 plus, he's getting 70 points in base probably with ease.
Yeah. And the second game on the Friday night. Look, this was another good one. Obviously, the Broncos were a little bit better performed here. We talked about Dave Fafita, his performance and that. Payne Haas solid as always. But the Bunnies look good. I thought they didn't really rely on anything in particular. I thought they were strong up the middle with Tommy Burgess. Mark Nichols, he's making a case for to get off the shit list. There's a nice try there that he put on. Although it was miserable defence off the quick tap. Wow. 4 players he had to fucking just push his way through like tissue paper. But, that was probably their worst moment of the night, the Bronx.
And they had another, this is the thing with Brisbane, they're letting some really soft tries up the middle. And if someone like Nichols is running 3 off a tap or whatever it was, there's something wrong. And they say, defence is all about attitude. And in the middle, if
what happened to these years ago where they talked about teams all having wrestling coaches and stuff like that? It's like Broncos missed the memo or something. Like, there's no...
Well, see,
I don't know.
See, other clubs were getting MMA fighters. The Broncos got Hulk Hogan in. So they all know how to do a good leg drop. But
or about his hair.
Yeah, that's right. And they call everyone brother.
That was good.
Latrell went all right. Another 60-odd points. Did fuck all, but at least he scored 60.
Well, he's starting to build some consistency, Latrell. He's always hanging around that 60 mark. So
fuck off.
So late.
You're not allowed to use those 2 words in the same fucking sentence. He's not on the list. I've got him in my team. You're just not allowed to use the words Latrell and consistent in the same fucking sentence. Jeez.
I said he's starting to. I didn't say he was consistent.
He can't even fucking spell the word.
All right.
Yeah, I think if he's not getting a couple of good, decent attacking stats throughout the game, it's a worry because he's not involved. He's not sniffing up the middle looking for offloads. He's not having a huge amount of runs from kick returns. He'll happily pass the ball off to one of his wingers. So you're hoping that he chimes in out the back there off Cody or something like that, or off Reynolds, and sets something out. Because that's the only place the points are coming from.
I'll tell you one thing. I wasn't wrong about this guy. At the start of the season, I think it might have been our pod or, someone to look out for. Colin Matangi. Mate, he looks good. Like, he only got a small amount of minutes. I think he might have only got about 25 minutes. But this bloke will be one to watch over the next season or 2. He's developing into a really, really good footballer. And I think if we can sort of develop that offload, I know that's a hard thing in a Wayne Bennett team who prefers not to offload. But, good-looking player, that Colin Matangi.
Yeah, I think he passed the eye test, bud, and next couple of years he'll probably come to fruition once he starts to get a bit more experience and there's surely not too many guys keeping me out of spot in that South pack. Nichols, maybe I can stand corrected on Nichols, but the South weren't overly impressive. The Broncos obviously haven't been anything special. They were in it for a bit longer. They played that first 40 to hang in there, but they just fell to bits after that. It was just on half time there. Staggs burning plenty of people that brought him in. I still think he's viable with the goal kicking and just his sheer ability to beat anyone one-on-one, but that hurt plenty of people bringing him in after the big 120 last week. Carrigan was a bit quiet, mate. They had a few people, well, at least, Lodge was back. Obviously, TPJ was in there. So now with TPJ out for the next couple of weeks for the COVID breach, and if not the season, depending on if you believe the rumours, Carrigan's possibly a keeper now for the rest of the year. There was always that, I always had that thought that when they get their stocks back, he might end up, not dropping the other side, but he wasn't going to get those minutes. But now with a couple of these guys out, and obviously, the form of some of these guys, and he's been arguably one of their best players this season with playing half. So hope he could be definitely a keeper for the rest of the year.
Mate, I think last week I really thought he just looked exhausted. Obviously we spoke about minutes and what Payne had playing, what Carrigan had playing, things like that, and I just think it might be telling on him. He's played a lot of minutes this year so far, and just being a 20-year-old kid, and obviously in the leadership role there at the Broncos, might be just telling on him a little bit. But I tell you what, I do like the look of this Herbie Farnworth as well. Big body, tall, sort of lanky kid, and
he's quick.
Good fend on him. He's quick. Yeah. He can finish. So I think
the Chooks
I think he's got plenty of potential. Oh, mate, look again. If I was any of these Broncos players, considering what's going on, I'd be looking at any offer except for maybe the Titans. But he's that kind of player that would go to a club like that and just completely thrive under a tighter ship. So yeah,
I think Dearden looks good for him. He adds a bit of spark. So he's been good. And obviously, D for Feeder scored a try there just after half time, I think it was. So he's pretty pod. He's not got a high base rate. Talked to Kendo about this during the week. You're not picking Dave Fafita because he's going to pump out 60, 70 points in base. You're picking him because he's possibly going to run over his the half-back mark and up on him like he did on Reynolds or Walker, whoever it was, and you're hoping he scores at least one or two, makes a couple of line breaks, sets up something with his offload. So I think he's a good option to finish off the year, something different, but he's still pretty cheap. But there's probably a few guys ahead of him, but I like him still. I like him as an option.
Yep, first game on the Saturday, and this was the one, wasn't it, mate? This destroyed me. Shit, I thought Munster was in for it here. I thought
you finally got it right.
I thought I finally got the right captain. 50 odd points in half time, and they really hadn't unleashed yet. I thought, here we go, we're on here, and it just all turned to shit 10 minutes in the second half. So he's already been traded out. I didn't even wait for Team List Tuesday. I got rid of the bastard. Sad there for Munster, obviously. But, mate, very much like the Roosters, lost sort of half their team or a lot of players out, but they just keep getting the job done. They're just so well drilled and so well coached that whoever they bring in replacement just seems to get a job done just as well. Nico Hines was huge. Riley Jacks played solid when he came off the bench.
I think, no Smith, no Pappen, Heisen. Munster gets injured and they still put 41 points on I don't know if you call the Dogs full strength, but they're pretty crazy.
Mate, exactly. Like everyone, I think they're hurting at this time of year, but they're still a pretty solid outfit defensively, the Dogs. So, yeah.
Kenny Brom's hit a bit of form of late, mate. I've got him in BJ draft, so he's been an absolute legend the last few weeks, scoring a few pies out there around off Munster, so he's looking good. The thing with Munster, like I said, I've fucking brought him in twice this season now. And if I trade him out, you've got to look at, I think if you are going to trade him out, and I think you need to, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to go. If he's out for 3 weeks,
lost sound. Yeah, okay, Fraser. Like, yeah, the sound's out of sync, and that's what I was trying to fix. But I think while I go into the settings, the sound goes off. So that's what's caused the. So my apologies. Shane Foot says still no sound. They've got me. Okay, now it's time for me to spill the truth on Josh and Brent. You guys should be coming through. Damon Burgess says we're good. It's back. Should be going through. Just let me. Hold on. We're done.
Folks, give me here. But Bogan, mate, it's just you. It's just you. You got to do the show, mate.
All right. Well, Bulldogs are shit. And the Storm are not.
Is that better? Can they hear me now?
Yeah, I've put you guys on individual channels.
Can you hear me now? Oh, yeah, Joshy's back. All right, well, we're good now. I'm back, so.
I'm going.
Huh? Don't you get out of here. Can't, mate.
Fish on?
Oh, here we are. We're on. We're good to go.
Hey,
yes.
Cheers, lads. Fuck. Thanks, boys.
Nothing like a BJ and game day show without technical difficulties, boys. Tell you what.
Fuck.
You need a new potato, Bogan.
One of us needs to win the fucking Supercoach. Put 50k into it.
We can hear.
Oh, mate, I'll put the whole 50k.
I can't remember what I was talking about, but it doesn't matter. Good way.
Yeah, Bulldogs are shit.
Storm a better team.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, fish on.
Next game, 5:30 game.
Speaking of.
This is the one. Hampton, you're away, son.
Oh, do you know what I said to the missus on, what was it, Sunday? Sunday at 2? I said, all right, time to sit down and get disappointed again. What are they going to throw up this week?
Sunday?
And honestly...
Saturday, Arvo, mate.
Was it Saturday? Sorry, that's all. I'm in disarray at the moment. How about it? Blake Green's first game, and it was the KP that we all have wanted to sort of see for a long time now. Obviously,
mate, this is what I said. Yeah, this
is the one. What can I say? We
he's
got
unleashed
an absolute flyer, and we just finished. So Ponga obviously 172 points there. He scored a double. He was creating things everywhere, and the boys just went on to get the job done. Blake Green has a massive influence, I think. Obviously, I think we mentioned it in maybe one of our group chats, but we sort of hoped, as a Knights fan, he would unlock him a bit, takes a bit of pressure off, directly off Pearce and Ponga to create everything. And I think it's just, if that's anything to go by, I know the Tigers, aren't necessarily a massive contender, but they haven't been terribly bad all year. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that combination develops, and if it's a good one, if it ends up being a magical ingredient, it's really a shame to think we've lost Bradman Best and all our hookers, because it could be a big finish to the year for us. We're possibly looking like we're going to make the finals for the first time in I don't know how many fucking years it's been, but massive. It was just everyone turned up, and it was just awesome.
Oh mate, look, I think you've got a positive team across the park now, and look, I did mention chat, I thought Blake Green would do exactly that. I didn't think Ponga would score 172 points. I thought he might turn up, but Kurt Mann, he's just look. Supercoach points aside, he's probably on the opposite thing of the list where I can't believe he scores how many Supercoach points he does, but how shit he actually is. So, but Blake Green's just got that better control. I think we talk about it all the time where you've got that sort of half and 5'8" combination where you've got a solid player or a consistent player with that X factor. Newcastle don't need that when you got Ponga at the back. Newcastle just need Ponga to be the X factor, and I think Blake Green brings that in. So yeah, I think only positive things from here. My only concern is who have you got in the 9 spot to come back, mate? Is everyone out for the season?
Yeah, McCulloch's gone, and he probably won't be there next year. Bailey's gone. Watson's gone. So we've got Randall, who's only played, I think he's played 2 games now.
Because my only concern is if Mann gets kicked out of the 9, like if there's someone who comes back who's better at the 9, I don't want to see Mann in the rest of the team, or he can take Bradman Best's centre 3/4 spot. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they can only put him, he's centre wing if it does happen. We've got Lino there who could possibly be able to hooker if worst come to worst. They give Phoenix Crossland the jersey ahead of Tex Hoy as well. So,
Benny, that is an absolute tragedy. Have a look at the chat, boys. Guy looped in a mate's cash comp, used Dane Laurie as his loop, and didn't check team list. Oh, gee. The poor bastard.
That's gonna sting for a while.
At least he still got 170 odd points. But anyway,
true. Look, like Luciano was big for the Tigers, their best player by far on the field. I think he's awesome. I think he's going to be a definite superstar of the future. He's not. I don't think he's that young, BJ, but for a big man, he plays 80 every week, pretty much most weeks. I think he has his base output isn't that big, but he's a big fella and he's very dangerous. But the last 4 weeks especially, he's done what I was hoping he'd do at the start of the year. But I think he's going to be absolute gold as long as he doesn't have the temperament of his brother, which it doesn't look like he does. Looks like he's a bit more of a gentle giant, but big fan of Luciano.
Yep. Fair call. And the final game on this Saturday night there, and I can't remember who played. Cowboys? No.
It was Panthers Raiders.
Look, this is. I mean, I know. Obviously, Rick. Who was it? Ivan Cleary came out and blasted the refs or whatever.
Yeah, copped a fine for it too, apparently.
Yeah. But how much effort does Nickel Clockstad put in? Like, we talk about, obviously, Supercoach with Canberra Raiders and really not being effective. I'd love to see that from him week in, week out because he was just brilliant in a beaten side. But the Panthers basically just got away early and the Raiders were never in it.
Yeah, I didn't actually see all this game. I think I watched the back end of the game, but Panthers just proven they're the real deal by the looks of it. I think the Raiders made a bit of a late surge, but just too much firepower in that Penrith side, led by Cleary there, top score. But, Coruscant back was big, Kick-Out was dangerous. Mansour 60 without a try. Crichton, they got Fisher Harris and Samau in the middle. The Wire's been pretty good, to be fair. So they've just got options all over the park. I think, Edwards is still out as well, who adds a lot to him. So, yeah, Panthers looking like the real deal this year.
Absolutely.
Raiders.
Shano actually texted me earlier in the week. He said he jerks off to Nathan Cleary every night. So, sorry, Shano.
Yeah, look, I think the Raiders, still be thereabouts for the end of the season. I think it's going to be their hardest game probably for the rest of the year. They might play the Chooks or something at one point, but look, they were just beaten by a better side on the night by the sounds of things from what I saw. They made a late surge, as you said, but
I think they play Cronulla in the next week or two, so there's a loss for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, no, look, I think Johnny Bateman, a few people might have jumped on JB early. Joshy he looked good in his first game back, but I still think he's looking like he's going to be, a good pot option for the run home, if you can call that. The Raiders have got a good draw for the rest of the season, basically. Yeah, Chook's in round 17. But apart from that, it's all rubbish. So, I think you should be looking at Johnny.
I don't know. The second row position this year seems a little bit harder. I think, obviously, in the years gone by, we've sort of talked about, the second row position being the bulk of your scorers and where you sort of want to set up first. But with the new, 6 again rule and that, and the amount of attacking that's come into football, they've really basically just turned into defensive units. I mean, I don't know. I just think there's better options across the park. A lot of people jumped on Bateman at 660K.
Oh,
I reckon you can probably find a pot at 500K and spend your money better elsewhere.
Joshy, this just in, breaking news. Shano's thrown out the challenge to you again, mate, with your comments about the Sharks and the Panthers.
Fuck off.
Chili or cat food, mate. He's got what, 14 boxes of chili chips that he hasn't lost a bet ever since he got them.
He's looking for a reason to eat them.
We got a chili on end of season. He actually beat me in the head-to-head this week. He wanted me to say that, so yeah, you prick. He beat me by about 150 points.
He told me he was closer to 200.
So we've got a chili on overall. We got a Carolina Reaper chili on overall.
You reckon you can catch him?
So we got the hottest chili on earth. Mate, I'm about 200 points behind, so it's not looking good, I tell you. It's not looking good. But, hey, anything for entertainment.
It'll be good for the final show of the season.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, so I still think Penrith are dangerous. Bring in any of their players to Supercoach, they're all going to score 1,000 points because they're just absolutely destroying blokes. If you don't have Cleary, 700K getting him in. They got Parramatta in, probably the only hard team they played to finish the year, you could argue. So Penrith players big guys now.
I tell you what, I've been disappointed since I got Fisher Harris in.
Yeah, he's on a bit of a slump.
Yeah, he's gone a string of sort of high 40s, early 50s, maybe 3 or 4 games in a row. So it's been hurting a little bit. But look, obviously a class player like him and the workload that he can produce, I'm going to hold and just hope it returns.
When they're pumping teams by so many points, he's not having to do too much defending.
No, that's true.
Or taking the hard ones up the middle. So, his minutes have dropped off big time, Josh. You might want to have a look at that. He's not playing anywhere near. He's only mid-50s to 60 minutes. So
yeah, well, I mean,
Hayden Oddie's...
The effectiveness they're getting out of Moses Leota and Spencer Leniu off the bench has been huge.
Hayden Oddie in the chat has asked thoughts on Ryan James to Canberra. That happened over the week.
Oh yeah, I think he's a reasonable sign they've got him for cheap enough. He's obviously pretty injury prone, or he's had a few injuries in the last little while. But they'll lose Bateman. They've obviously picked up Harawira and Nero. I think he's still got some good footy to offer. It's just whether he can stay fit. He's arguably, before he copped that last ACL, in Origin contention, or he was going to get a phone call and something happened. So I think it's a pretty good pickup for the Raiders. Soliola probably at the back end of it, but he was very Supercoach relevant too, probably 3 or 4 years ago from memory, if not more than that. Yeah, I like it.
Mate, I'd agree. I like the signing. I think the only doubt around it is the 2 ACLs that he's done over the last 3 years. Take those out. Exactly as you say, he was a form prop of the comp. You probably look at him as a walk-up Origin start. So I reckon Ricky Stewart's probably done, overall, you look at everyone who's sort of signings and the team he's created over the last 3 or 4 years, mate, he's head of the comp, he knows what he's doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Sunday, 2:00 game. And
I didn't watch this one, Titans Cows.
Nah, neither did I. But AJ Brimson had a huge game. Kevin Proctor as well. Miserable to see that the Cows go down like this. But again, they're having a bit of a tough season. Michael Morgan came out and just looks absolutely atrocious. So he'll probably need a couple of games to get back just to find his feet again. Brian Kelly, mate, I love this kid. I've got him in my draft leagues, and he just sort of produces, and I mean, I'm struggling in draft. I don't pay too much attention to it, but if I didn't have blokes like him and those sort of consistent performers, I'll be going even worse, that's for sure.
I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of. I don't know if he's his little brother, but Albert Kelly. I was a massive fan of just watching him play. But I think it's his little brother or it's his cousin. It's possibly his little brother.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Albert's older.
Yeah, I think Brian's his little brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's massive. He's one of the busiest, I think, outside backs in the comp. And Supercoach wise, he's definitely relevant. He's, it's hard to pick up a bloke in the Titans, I think, like an outside back. But you look at, they got Brimson back now, and Anthony Don consistently scores tries. But yeah, I think he's probably a massive pod to finish the year. He's still reasonably cheap, Joshy. So maybe if you're looking for something different, the Titans don't play. They play the Canberra in a couple of weeks, but you could argue they got a pretty decent draw. They are the Titans, but they don't. It's not like they play Melbourne and the Chooks or Para and Penrith. So, could be a little sneaky there, mate. Low BE, and he's got that big ceiling. He could have weeks where he gets a double or whatever and scores 120, 130 points. So I like it.
Yeah, for sure. And then the final game in Sharknado 2, we saw the Eels get over my boys 14-12. Another game where the Sharkies outscored them in tries, but unfortunately Sean Johnson didn't have his kicking boots on. Well, not for goals anyway. But mate, this was a cracker of a game to watch. I just love watching footy in the wet like this. Puddles and shit going everywhere. But Dylan Brown, mate, what a brilliant young footballer. We've sung his praises a lot this season and how good he looks, and this just confirms it again and again. This kid is basically the next best thing coming along.
Yeah, I think you talk about guys like the Trell and Ponga and Dave Fafita and Haas. I think this bloke's in their cloth. One of the most exciting young blokes. I think he's still, was he 20, 21 or something? Maybe something like that. Is he even that old? Is he? I don't even think
I'm not sure. I think he's probably 20, 21. I think he's probably right there.
He's awesome. I hope he hangs around league. I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like he was a big part of the win on the weekend. Obviously, he was massive for anyone that had him. Pretty cheap, reasonably cheap too. He's I wouldn't call it a slump. He's been probably, I think he's the third best halves option after Munster and Cleary or Johnson or something like that. So, he paid absolute dividends for anyone that had him. Shano had him, so that was big.
Fucking Shano.
But it all came off him. He likes to take on the line. There'll be games where he gets 40 points in base just because he runs the ball so much, which I think you want from a half.
Mate, can tackle as well, like really good indeed.
Can take a hit as well. He looks awesome, this kid. Sivo, mate, he's done it again. He's not disappointed.
What a legend.
He still went all right.
He's all the way down there.
For 32 points, so it wasn't terrible. I'm still tempted to bring him in. There's some reason the fact that Sivo is like 420k that it's hard to overlook him. But I think Fergo's outshone him. 37 points from Fergo. How about the ball off the dropout, and then he's dropped another one. That was an absolute perler.
That's just that pass. Well, I don't know if you can call it a pass back to Junior Paulo. It was an absolute shocker. It's just one of those ones where you throw it and you completely lose the grip as you throw it. So, yeah. Look, I think I was looking there in the chat. The boys reckon the Sharks are unlucky. Look, as a Sharks fan, you sort of normally see these and you call it bias. You attack the refs. I didn't really think that we were that hard done by in a game like that. And I think Benny mentioned it as well. One of the passes there from Sean Johnson out to Ronaldo Mulatalo for a try was about 4 metres forward. So
wasn't it? I didn't know if anyone else.
It was,
I'm thinking that was one of the most forward passes I've seen all year.
The stupid part was like the Sheila, the bird that was playing touchdowns. She was a toucher. She stood there like she stopped, and it was like, oh yeah, she's going to call this forward because it's forward by a mile, and no, all good to go. So look, I didn't think we were that unlucky. I think what really cost Cronulla was that Matt Moylan's an absolute flog. He was fucking 8 errors, gave away penalties, drop ball, just shit kicks. Matt Moylan was atrocious. And then just the brain snap from Hamlin Ueli there at the end, like taking out Campbell Gillard with 10 to go. Like, just stupid shit like that. That's probably what pisses me off more.
I think with you guys, guys like Dugan, Moylan, even Andrew Fafita, they're probably, I wouldn't say past it. I think they're about 30 years old, but just given how their track record with injuries and they're probably between them. I'd hate to know how many games but all three of those guys have played in the last 12 months because it wouldn't be many. You got some young blokes coming up. That Ferris looked good. Obviously, it was a bit of a shame to lose Jerry, but you got guys like Hunt and Talakai. They're coming through. Like, when do they just let guys like Dugan? And I think Dugan's got, like, you got to let him go, don't you? Moylan's probably the same, and you're just not getting enough out of them for what you're.
If you told me Dugan was there on 350,000 a year and not 850, I'd say keep him. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's still a smart enough player these days. As dumb as a bloke as he is, I think he's actually become quite a good footballer. But yeah, he's just not worth 850. Moylan's not worth that much. And I guess the hard part is, obviously, you look at Chad Townsend, mate. A solid player, he's a good park footy player, but is he a top flight NRL halfback? 1 week yes, the next 6 weeks no. So
Tracy looks pretty good, I reckon.
Yeah, but again, it's just in spurts, I don't know. I guess it's really hard to find that genuine superstar halfback, isn't it? That you're after. I guess you've just got to rely on SJ being it, and someone else has been there to assist.
Yeah, and I think SJ, he's about 30 now, so he's probably, possibly got 3 or 4 years in him at best, probably if he stays injury free. So they're gonna have to find something. But yeah, I think considering the conditions for that one, didn't see it being a high scoring game on the field. It wasn't. I thought the Sharks could have nipped it at the end at some point there, but definitely didn't expect a big score from Dylan Brown, and that was massive. So they kept Gutho pretty quiet. Sivo was pretty quiet. All those outside backs for Para that are generally scoring heaps, but I think the conditions probably helped Cronulla in this one. Obviously, Para not able to throw the ball around, so they had their chances, didn't take it. But I think still like the Chooks, Para just getting the job done. Like Penrith, I think these are the teams that'll be there at the end of the year. They just get the job done even when it's under pressing conditions.
Gomez, I'd completely support that, mate. Jimmy Maloney back to the Sharks. I'd dead set take him back to partner SJ every day of the week. So that's it for the games there from last week. Setting up for the games this week. Fuck, we're already 10 o'clock after our Broncos.
We had a fucking 20 minute about the fucking Broncos. Yes, John McCaffrey, I did have a testy pop at one point there. He's caught.
Roosters up against the Storm. A little bit of a tough game to watch. Obviously, we expect such big games out of these two teams, but both teams probably missing between 6 and 7 top flight players each. Joshy Morris comes back. Lachlan Lamb's still there. Obviously, Kyle Flanagan still hasn't been named, so that's dropped on form. So until Lachlan Lamb does something wrong or Flanagan does something right, we'll probably see that stay the same for a while. Riley Jack starts at number 6 for Cam Munster. Tino Fa'asu Malawi. Actually, I've got to think, I can't remember who it was. Someone jumped on the YouTube video last week because we had a bit of trouble saying this lad's name and gave us the exact pronunciation. So, and I looked at this for about 20 minutes trying to get it right. So it's Fa'asu Malawi. Fucked it. Fa'asu Malawi.
Aaron Moylan.
Malawi.
Didn't we
still trying.
Surely Aaron Moylan? That's how you pronounce it?
Surely Tino covers it, Big T.
Big T.
Tino Fa'asua Malawi. Anyway,
Big T, Tino.
It's fucking Malawi from Moana.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Chrissy Cole, Takiaho, massive pod. I don't know what his ownership is, but he's kicking goals with Flanagan not there. Where Hargrave's still out, so he's got some big minutes in him as well, and he sniffs out some attacking stats on CSO Takiaho, TKO. So he played 80 on last week, so it could be a sneaky. He's not that cheap. Still, if you're looking at Tapau's cheaper, but I like it. I like it as a little sneaky pot.
Mate, you look at you look at that bench there as well. There's not too many people who are going to steal massive minutes out of him. Drew Hutchinson obviously plays a half. Puasafas, there's another one. Matt Butcher.
How
and
good are we
Daniel
going?
Fafita, obviously. Daniel Fafita has just only debuted in the last couple of weeks. He's going to only get a small amount of minutes. So, Takiyaho could play 60-plus minutes and kick all that 3 or 4 round average, 80, 90 points.
Yeah, look, he's 7% ownership. He's probably generally going to play 55, 60 minutes, probably pump out a point per minute or so. With the goal kicking, you might find an extra 15, 20 points, and he could be hitting 70s with these, which still think's good for a bloke at 5.5, 550 odd.
First game on the Friday, 6 o'clock game. Warriors up against the Panthers. Ooh. Well, I mean, this could be a cricket score. I know the Warriors obviously performed well last week against Manly, but the Panthers are just a different team this year. Tyrone Moe finds himself in the centres again. Josh Mansour can't find the ball lately. I'm not too sure what's going on there, mate.
I think he was a little bit better on the weekend. But yeah, I think Crichton's just got white line fever. As all most young blokes do, and he does find a try a bit. So between, when you got Kickout hitting it short, Crichton on his outside, it's a little bit like Fergo. It's sort of hard for him to get the ball. I think with Sauce, the difference is he's pretty involved. He'll come in and sniff out a run from dummy half after a kick or whatever. So I think he has returned to form, but I think he's pretty cheap. And you don't have him, do you?
No.
No, he's pretty cheap. Like he's mid 400s. He hasn't been that bad. Like he's last 3 out of the last 4 weeks, he's scored over 60, but he's not scoring heaps of tries or anything like that. So the point where you're relying on those tackle busts from him and that busy base, but you'd have to assume. I mean, I'd have to assume all the attack would come down the left with Tyrone May will be out on that right edge with Nate, and Aikens isn't their preferred fullback. Edwards is in the extended bench, but they got Luai, Crichton, Kickout, Mansour on the left. I can only assume it'll be all coming down the left. So unless Edwards comes in and he's better on the right, but the Warriors have been good in the last few weeks, mate. So you never know, depending on the conditions, if it's a little bit wet or something that might bring it in.
The hard part for the Warriors is the last 3 weeks, their best players have been Jack Hetherington, Daniel Alvaro, and George Jennings. Like, they haven't been Warriors players, but Cody Nicorimas looks solid, and Tohu's obviously doing what Tohu always does. So I don't know, mate.
I think Katoa looks like he's awesome. He's going to be one for the future. If Harry Grant doesn't get Rookie of the Year, it'd have to be that bloke after him, wouldn't it? So
I think it's hard to turn it away from Harry.
Harry.
Right.
Yeah. So look, I still think. The Panthers are won 8 in a row now, so every win they're close to a loss. They probably do they need a loss before finals, Joshy, just to bring them back down to earth? Maybe I don't know if it happens this week, but you're probably getting plenty of values on the Warriors in the tab. So plenty of
mate. What does it say? They play Sharkies I think next week, so that'll be their loss.
Yeah, they had some dodgy ones against the Cows and the Titans too, so maybe we'll have to see how they show up. They'll see.
Second game there on
Friday night, mate. Absolute blockbuster.
Huge.
The Dragons. So, chance of Parra to bounce back. They'll want to be better after last week. The Dragons put up a bit of a fight against the Chooks, but they'll be looking to compete as well. I think they found a bit more consistency, but look.
Does Ryan Madison play, mate?
Yeah, I think he's back in. I just hope he knocks his. I don't hope he knocks himself out again, but maybe it's a little sneaky. Falcon rules him out early, big break even. He'll be cheaper the week after because I offed him last week for whoever I brought in. I can't remember.
You miserable cunt.
Munster. I think I went Munster. I got him through Jules. So big 120 something break even. Just a little 60 would be good, but I think he's good.
Mate, I've held on to him. I was going to dump him this week if he didn't start, but
never trade a keeper.
Obviously, the fact that he's you're a keeper until you start scoring.
I can't trust him. I can't trust him after that concussion a couple of years ago at the Chooks. I just can't. He's dodgy. I'm not. Yeah, he's too much cash. I had to see him on the pine. It was like, is he going to be out for another 6 weeks? So I went to Munster. I went straight to Munster.
Fallen over as well.
Yeah. So
how'd you get to Munster? Who'd you have, Jules?
No, because I went yo up, and I had Avarillo in the halves, and that was why I had to play fucking Avarillo. Fuck me dead, because I had like Willie Army, Niu, and fucking someone else that wasn't playing into my bench centres, so fucking dark. Yeah. Anyway, so
he looked good too, Avarillo. Obviously not on the weekend, but he's looked good so far.
Fuck me. Every time he started at centre, he scored 60 plus. He's kicking goals. Fuck me dead. Anyway, so
for the Dragons, Corey Norman back, Cam McGuinness into the 13, Benny Hunt back to the 9.
How is Norman back in the side? Seriously,
mate. I don't know. Maybe this is just them giving a farewell to Mary. Who knows?
Surely Sailor's better. Like, he looks so much better in the brief time he's been on the park.
Mate, that's just the will to want to play, isn't it? You know, Corey Norman doesn't have it, that's for sure. So,
yeah,
I think that's why actually Ricky Stewart gets such good, value out of a lot of these Pommy guys that come over, is because they're just hard workers. You look at, I think we mentioned there last week as well, the NBA and stuff. You've got 500 million people in the States, and you've got a couple hundred blokes in the NBA. All these guys have just got to beat everyone else. You've got to be a hard worker. It seems a lot of these guys in rugby league take their position a little bit for granted. So,
yeah, I think one of the boys said Ford got done for the trip on Kiri for that try at the end. So I think you got a couple of weeks. Possibly that's a reason why McInnes has moved in. Tarek Sims is out as well. So maybe Norman didn't get the call up had that happened. But I agree with you, Kando. McInnes at 13, there's just something about him playing 13. He doesn't seem to get the points like he does when he's at hooker. I don't know if it's because Ben Hunt's in there, like Kando's saying, some of those defending, taking some of that work off him. But he just generally seems, when he starts at 13, his base just seems to be a little bit less, and it's really annoying.
It's not just the base as well. Like McInnes, 90% of the time he does get attacking stats, he's playing 9. It's whether it's the dive over from dummy half. I don't know. He doesn't get as much from 13.
I stand corrected. His base I'm just looking at stats here. I feel like that was what was going on, but his base actually hasn't been that bad. So maybe it's like you said, he just doesn't have that option to create anything because he doesn't get that little barge over or that scoot from a quick play of the ball. So anyway, he's back there at 13. He's definitely not a trade because you got to have bigger problems. But plenty of options still in the Paris side. Bring them all in.
Yeah. Saturday footy. Here we got 3 o'clock game. Sharkies up against the Titans. Matty Moylan at 6 again. Not too much has changed here for the Sharks. I think Toby Roth named at 13 again. He'll start on the bench as usual. For the Titans, look, I don't know. I reckon, mate, like we spoke about before, maybe if anyone wants a bit of a pod, have a lash at Brian Kelly. Other than that, there's not too much to talk about here.
Brimo, mate, maybe. Arrow's probably pretty cheap too if you're really desperate or you need someone cheapish for an upgrade. But
mate, Brimson just seems like chasing points. But yeah,
isn't there a rock called Brimson or something? Was it Brimstone? Is it something like that? Bridgestone tires? I don't know. Like his rocks or diamonds, I think. Brimo.
Where the fuck did that come from? Oh, right, you're going there. Rocks or diamonds, right? Yeah, Jesus, it's late, mate. We're tired.
You're thinking fire
next
and brimstone.
Game on the 5:30.
Fire and Brimstone, that's the one. Brimstone. What's his name? Brimson. Oh, Brimson. No wonder. That's what I was thinking of it. All right.
Mate, this is it. This is it. This is why I've brought in Cody Walker. Because Cowboys let in 30 with the Titans. They got to let in fucking more with the Rabbitohs. So, mate, Cody Walker, Munster to Cody Walker, done deal. What are your thoughts on Cody Walker at home? Everyone at home?
He's just he's been a bit cold this year, I reckon, bud. He got that time a couple weeks ago. But
that's why he's due to warm up more.
Yeah, and then in 2 weeks they played Para then the Storm, and then they played the Chooks in the final round of the season. So 3 of his next seven.
No. I'll dump him off back to Munster.
I'm starting to run out of trades. I've just realised.
That's all right, mate. I think I worked it out. If I use all my trades, I've got none left for the last 2 rounds. Well, fuck, by then it's over anyway. So I'll have lost all my head-to-head first finals. Not a chance.
Yeah, true.
Blow your load early, mate. Blow your load early.
Go hard. Yeah, righto. Your boys at 6, mate. Cuz Drinkwater's back too. So
mate.
Drink
Yeah.
is back. Benny Hampton, the GOAT at 6. Michael Morgan, sneaky, but yeah, don't know.
Just a rubbish thing.
Can Damien Cook produce? Last time we heckled Cook, he produced. So I'm calling him out again. Can Cook please produce? Because I think since I brought him in 2 or 3 weeks ago, he's only scored 40s.
I don't have him, so I'm going to say absolutely he can produce. Yes.
I dead set brought him in 3 weeks ago.
I'm not going to heckle him.
52, 42, 49 for a measly 700k, for fuck's sake.
Big no on Walker, too high a break even. Who gives a fuck about his Cook? Oh, no. Cookie's too high a break even.
Yeah, that's
Big
this week. It was fucking...
Ryan, mate, you learn once you watch the BJ and Game Day show enough that everything we suggest is a big no, mate. That's just standard. Plus, I've got 3 days in between now when the week kicks off to change it 400 times. So, yeah, anyhow.
What do we got? Saturday. We're still only up on Saturday. Brisbane, Canberra,
Let's
Brisbane.
Next game.
Surely the Raiders towel them up in Canberra.
Well,
all sorts.
It's not really much changes from last week, is there anyway?
Oh, well, you got TBJ out, so Teo comes in.
Jordan Ricky. Oh, okay.
Who is
Jordan Ricky on the bench. Mate, this was the lad, obviously, when I caught up with Corey Parker earlier in the season before the season started, this was the bloke he said to watch out for. I think he might have had one game before COVID, but this is the bloke he said will be the Broncos' next sort of good thing. Big, tall, rangy back row like a lot of these guys. So yeah, just one to watch out for. See how he goes Saturday night.
Sorry, Josh. Another breaking news from the chat. So Benny G has just said Josh is like Sangster. In anyone he trades in, you don't. You've been compared to Sangster.
Yeah, cool.
How do you feel about a comparison to Sangster?
Get rid of Benny. Get rid of Benny.
Time him out.
No, time out, Josh.
Not having time out, Josh. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Benny, you can take my spot, mate. Absolutely.
Benny's whooping all of us. He's a gun. He
is. He sent me through his team earlier in the year. I was just like, mate, what are you sending this in for? It's fucking beautiful. So yeah. Anyhow.
What I think
Blake has said in the chat, how good is Sangster? You want to share your opinions on Sangster again, Josh? Or?
Sangster?
He likes Sangster more than he likes Mitch Phillips.
No.
Oh, it's a tie. It's a tie.
I've noticed Sangster and Co have basically ripped off the show with the COVID home and. They've got the Skype set up.
Everyone had to adjust, mate. We're trendsetters. But everyone had to adjust. No, look, I don't like Sangster. Anyway.
Sorry to interrupt.
Move on. Sunday game. Sunday footy, 2:00.
Ponga's going to be captain option.
The show's going slow enough as it is.
Last time Newcastle played...
Mate, can you back up 170?
Mate, last time, how's this? Last time we played the Seagulls, I put the captaincy on Ponga and he scored 18 points. That was the week he got 18, I think. 19, sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck me. So now you watch everyone, Ponga will be it was a captaincy option when we played Manly the last time. So a bit different now with Greeny in there. Plenty of outs for Manly, in that. I still don't know how they're competing. Cherry Evans is in pretty good. Cade Cuss, I guess, as well. I just still... they're not that bad, I guess, now I look at them. But I'm still expecting us to put them to the sword as I did the last time we played them. So maybe it'll be close. Controversial last time, but all usual culprits. Barnett's probably a bit of a pod. Still pretty cheap. Plays big minutes, good base. DSAF is back, big DSAF. I don't think Green's someone you can bring in. He'll just play that second fiddle and give it to the guys that need it. But yeah, KP, captaincy option, mate. To power, Jakey Trebojevic did a bit of form as well, bud.
Yeah, he's obviously had a couple of meat pies and things like that and starting to hit form. A little bit hard to have based on the rest of the year and what he did last year, but be good to see him get back in form because we're too used to him only performing when the other turbo's around. So, yeah. Wait and see.
But yeah, probably a decent captaincy option probably this week and you can move on, I reckon.
Oh, mate, it's always good on a Sunday Arvo as well. Sunday Arvo footy. Hopefully we can see a dry track.
Yeah, you got to check
there
the weather
at
after
James Stadium.
the last couple of weeks, haven't you?
Oh, mate, I tell you what, if I had known that it was going to be Sharknado with the Para game, I definitely would have traded him. And as silly as it sounds, what fucked me over was reversing trades again. I need to just do my trades and not reverse because it got to the Friday night game and I realised that, I had Flegler on my bench because
You're
I
fucking
reversed.
hopeless.
And I always look at like 7:56, when the game's closed. And not only was it that, I fucking had Osaka fullback, and that's who I was going to trade out for Ponga, which is what I've done this week. But, yeah, week two. Anyway.
You check your fucking draft teams more than once a month, you fucking useless prick.
Well, but there's no one. I don't trade. I don't fucking.
Your dead set won't be in the leagues next year. You're fucking hopeless. The week you're playing everyone else, you got 10 people playing. The week you play me, you fucking do your team, you prick.
Yeah. Well, I got to watch out for who I'm drawing against. I'm last. I think I'm last in both leagues, but anyway, yeah.
Fucking hopeless.
I know.
What do we got? Finish it off with Tigers, Dogs, absolute blockbuster. What a great. Why wouldn't you put the Knights on it for? Anyway, Nofo? I think Tigers have got a bad run, mate. So Nofo owners sitting tight. You're a Nofo.
Yep.
Sitting tight for the run home with him. Can't trade him out. He's at 25% ownership, which is massive. Everyone's sitting tight on Nofo. Tell us, Nofo owners, what's doing?
Oh, look, if he's going to score 50 to 60 points for the next 6-7 weeks while the comp ends, I'm happy with that. But at the start of the year, that's what I was happy to get an average out of a centre winger. Do I want the 90s or 100s? Yeah, absolutely.
Climmy, poor King, only place he isn't banned is his page. That's probably pretty cheap.
Yes, absolutely. That's why we created the BJ and Game Day page.
To be fair,
we're too hot for the mainstream, fella.
We got to watch out for those defamation lawsuits. But
Josh is the new Taylor. I tell you what, if I was Taylor, I'd be playing with myself a lot more.
Nofo's got Dogs this week. And they still play Manly South, so at some stage there. But they play the Chooks, Penrith, Storm, and Eels in their last 7 games, so they get the top 4 teams. So if you got Tommy Talau, I don't know. If you've got Nofo, you're probably sitting on him, but couldn't blame people for maybe getting off. Not this week, but
he's just got the base of work, so I'll keep him.
Yeah, he is. I think he can, if Lomax can score 100 versus the Chooks, Nofo can do the same against any of those guys. I don't know what's going on with Twile, mate. He's still not sighted there, so Eisenhuth gets the 13 again. Dog side of things, not much doing in that back line. RFM, the only thing in the forward pack that I can see there. Luke Thompson hasn't really set the world on fire.
24 points last week.
Yeah, got the sausage against the Storm. What is it, Luke Thompson? So he's not playing huge minutes. The base output isn't amazing, so maybe just taking a bit of a time to adjust there. Tolman off the bench, but yeah, probably not much doing there.
Found the perfect team to go to in the Bulldogs. Fits right in.
And Grant possibly missing for another couple of weeks. So I think if he's still got Grant, it's too much now for if he's sitting out for another 2 or 3 weeks. That's half the game.
Trading him out this week.
Yeah. And that's it. Fuck.
That's it.
All right, on to
trade.
Change places.
I reckon I've changed since we've spoken.
Change places.
every week.
Fuck, what's new with us? Who we got? Hampton. There you go.
I was looking at the Para connection because I don't know. Like I said, there's something about you make like 30 odd K going best to Sivo.
Sivo's
I don't
been
know.
so
There's
Mo's
something
on
about
the right.
Sivo.
Sivo's on the left.
I don't know, but I just feel like there's still plenty of points, and Sivo's going to win those guys. I mean, they do play Melbourne and Penrith in 2 of their last 7, so I think they're bad trades, those ones in particular, just because there's so much more chance that one of them goes sub fucking 20 or 30 possibly, but I'm also possibly looking at off Munster, mate, because that'll be holding Munster, obviously. If I was to get off Munster, I think I could go Munster to Jazz and then Bradman Best to Nathan Brown and swap Yo back down in my centres, which I think I'm leaning towards. I like them a bit better bringing Jazz and Nathan Brown. I'm happy with how Brown's looking. I'll probably bring him in pretty much same price as Brown. I think those guys are a little bit underpriced.
He's running hard.
He's running real hard. Hopefully he doesn't fucking cork something or do something, but I'm liking him. So
he will.
Tempted by Sivo, but a couple of those single-digit scores. Has he got a couple single digits? No, he's had a couple sub-20s, but it's just so potentially going to go enormous in one of those weeks and fucking burn me. I can see it, and he's super cheap. Anyway, that's me. Don't know what's doing. What are you doing?
Good question. What do we have again? All right, so Osako and Munster.
You're training Osako for the 14th time this year?
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Yes. Well, I've never really had a chance to. He's been stuck in my team the whole time because someone else gets fucking injured or a player gets dropped or whatever it may be, and he's just that little pest that never fucking left. So I think he's 295K or whatever. I had about 500,000 in the bank, so I'm going him to Ponga and Cam Munster down to Cody Walker, leaves me about 300,000 in the bank. So
I think Walker's super pod.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, mate. Is obviously I'm hoping for something like that 150 we saw last year, that you missed out on, and mate, if we can get that, happy days.
He's not even at 5%, so he's a massive pod.
Yeah.
If you got Latrell and you got Murray and you got Cook.
Nah, no Cookie.
I think you got Mitchell. It's a good little link up. It's just they can be
Latrell, Murray, and Walker. And I look at the South team, mate. I just think they're trending upwards. I haven't been that impressed with them this year, but I do think that they're starting to put it all together. As long as that go forward in the pack can remain, and Tommy Burgess is obviously playing some good football. Totola's going all right. Obviously, we spoke about Mark Nichols. Burn my tongue for saying it. When Liam Knight does come on, he actually looks semi-okay. He's just no good for Supercoach. So as long as they get that go forward going, Cam Murray's got to start to perform better as well. So, yeah.
I reckon my problem with trading Munster out is if I trade him out, I'm going to want him back. Assuming he's back in 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be the 3rd time.
I'll get him back. Yeah, I'll get him back.
Anyway.
Liam Knight is not back in the good books. He's fucking on the list.
Get the C off Ponga now. Josky won't make these trades, guys. Don't worry. He'll bring in friggin' Sain Faumuina and friggin' Solomono Hamona.
Olakatu.
Yeah, Olakatu. That's right. Super pod.
Fuck, are we going to go through these? Shit. Yeah, he got the best score of the week.
Bird Gang 1385. Geez, that's pretty good, I guess. But I thought someone might have cracked 1400 this week with old Ponga's
captain
170 and McInnes and Lomax. But 1380 is still rocks solid. Pretty decent overall rank. So he's not Hail Married that one. Good shit from the Bird Gang.
And the cunning stunts holding on there in the DJ.
66th.
That's Mackenzie's team. Stunning. Oh, the cunning stunts.
Kando's still not even in the top 10 of this group, so he can't be. We've got plenty of people doing well. Good shit. Good shit, guys.
Kando's ranked like 800 or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's flying.
He's fucking nowhere.
Mana shakes it up in the invitation with 13.35.
Mana's having a shocker.
Snags. He is trailing a bit. 16k. Jeez.
Yeah.
Kando, look at that. There he is. 806.
Mana finished top 5 overall, didn't he, a couple of years back?
Oh, I don't know. I think
he finished third.
Did he? Oh, no,
I thought he finished top.
I don't know.
All these
exactly
people
what,
that you're fucking ripping on are doing better than us. So
yeah, fuck them.
We just decided to put our fucking ugly face on YouTube. We didn't say we were experts.
Yeah, look at Sangster. Sangster and his mob.
Yeah, where is Sangster?
He's ranked worse than me. Anyway,
I feel sorry for these bastards who message us saying, "Oh, what should I do here?" What the fuck you listen to me for? I can't even play the game. But anyway, keep going.
What else is doing? The number 2 league. Bogiano. Trento, my mate.
Trent.
Well done, mate. 1,300. He's ranked 1,400 overall, so he's going all right. Miller's Dogs, 1,300 as well. Good shit there. Yep. Move it along. The all-in. Mana is obviously in the all-in. The Snags. What's this? Nah, if this is the Invitational again,
You're going backwards, mate. You're going backwards.
Bogan, he's regressed.
Sorry.
Fucking, what is this?
Amateur hour. Did you use the wrong screenshot? Amateur hour. That's what we are.
The viewers are plummeting now, Bogan, for fuck's sake.
Viewers always plummet when we get to the leagues because most people
how have we got? They're dropping like flies.
So the all-in.
Love it.
All in.
Keep going. Next one. Got no idea, ladies and gents.
Fucking hell, Bogan.
Just kill the potato, mate. Just kill it.
Here we
Stop
go.
the connection.
Hey, the big ball is 13.44. Not bad. Good size. He's ranked 5,000, so he's going decent. Even the noob as well. Top 3K, so fucking not bad. 1,300 solid.
Next.
Anything over 1,300.
Next.
Moving on.
Next is the results from the draft.
Hey.
I
won't be gloating.
Did I win?
I won't be gloating.
Oh, shit, I only just got beat. That's good for me.
Fucking, you don't even check your team, you dickhead.
Nah. 754 points. I would have beat everyone else.
Except for Mana.
Oh, except for Shaq.
Yeah, true. Suck shit.
Jeez,
for not checking your team. I'm not gloating about my win over Kando. He only had 12 runners, 12 starts, so I only scraped home. It was coming to the last game. So, and Katoa got switched from the right side to the left side. So those two tries at Mulatalo got probably Katoa's, even though one of them was a forward pass. Bogan gets the job done again, mate.
Only just. Yeah,
that was unfortunate. The silver lining on me losing to Kando would have meant you would have been in shy for that minor premiership, Bogan, because you should see the group chat light up, mate. I think
I'm in strife anyway.
Where's the ladder? Go to the ladder, mate.
Checkmate pump Bundy. Big Ginge got up over the Mart start, and you got sausaged by Ted. Joshy.
I tell you what, Big Ginge and Hell's Grannies, both these lads. So, what are we, 5th and 7th respectively? You got to give them credit considering at the start of the year when we did the draft, they didn't get to pick a single player.
Yeah.
And here I am sitting second last. But
so I think
saying that,
3
I'm two wins out of 4th spot.
Nah, it's 3 head-to-heads left, and it's top 5 play finals. So if you lose this week, you're out of contention mathematically. So
why didn't you make the top 8 play finals?
Fuck me, I'm not giving out participation awards, mate. Fuck.
It's still probably fucking miss out, Josh.
Look at the points against. I've had 9,652 scored against me. Everyone else less than that. So I've copped the shit every week. I've copped the good teams.
Yeah, good. So, look, it's going to be a tight finish. Bogan's got one on the minor premiership, but I think first place gets the week off, first week of finals. So it's all happening. I take on the Grannies this week. Kando taking on Bundy. The Devil
I
up
like
against the Ginge.
Oh, Checkmate, he just had 900.
Checkmate's just had friggin' I think he had Nico
Checkmate's hit
Hines
form, and now I got him.
And Big Ted taking on Big Marty, a couple of boys from season 1. So it's all happening. All these ones are big.
Very good.
So he's going to take out that inaugural BJ on game day crown and the hoodie as well, bud. We'll sort that out too.
Absolutely. Mate, that's it. We're done. We've hit an hour and a half again.
We managed to squeeze it in an hour and a half. We rushed through the second half of the show. Just checking for any questions or comments.
I have no idea he's wearing a shock shirt on an NRL show. Absolutely, mate. Go, Pompey. Play up, Pompey. Anyway.
Fuck, an idiot. Was that Portsmouth?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. We're in League One. We missed the championship again, but we'll be back there eventually.
Well, we're 7 weeks to go, mate. Not long now.
Yes.
Not many weeks to go. So sort your teams out, run out of trades. Good luck, everyone, with your captains and your trades. May the gods be kind. And see you next week, eh?
Cheers, guys. Catch ya. Hey, guys. Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube for all your notifications. If you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day. And on Twitter, we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So, guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.